Hey, today I'm talking about the first 3 films in the John Wick series. First up is John Wick. This is a 2014 film starring Keanu Reeves, and the basic premise, if you're somewhat unfamiliar, is a random guy kills John Wick's dog and steals his car, and now John Wick is out for blood, killing everyone in his way. Even though that is a fun, silly premise, it's deeper than that, in that his wife had just passed away, and the dog was a gift to John that she set up on her deathbed. So like this dog represents his wife and hope and love and just all good things, and then this random act of violence just tears that away from him. And he is an incredibly well-trained assassin that got out of the business to be with his wife, and now he can't help himself but get the hardest of revenge. This film's incredible. I love this movie, and what's so great about it is just the simplicity of it. Like, it's so easy to get the concept, to latch onto it, and then you're just along for this crazy ride. And then on top of that, they're so good at just telling the story visually. Like, there's hardly any dialogue. You could practically watch this movie muted and you would still get most of the information, which just goes to show the incredible craft behind this film. And then when there is dialogue, it adds this really fascinating texture to the universe, because it is this crazy assassin guild and it's so complicated, but they present it here very simply, just giving us little bits and pieces that add such a fun spice to everything. It's like they give us answers, and then every single answer makes us ask more questions, but in a fun way. And then on top of that, it just so masterfully builds. Like, that first action set piece is, it's such a release after all of that buildup, and then it just keeps going from there. And what's also great is that each action set piece feels different and unique. It's not like we're just doing the same violence over and over again. There's a different kind of almost gimmick to each one that works so well. And then on top of that, they weren't afraid to let John get hurt. He gets the shit beat out of him in this movie, and really throughout the entire series, but especially this movie. Like, he is barely holding it together. He also gets captured. He also almost dies a lot and is only saved because of the fact that people like him, which is just so nice and refreshing that even though this is a very over-the-top absurd movie, it still feels grounded because he's bleeding. He's losing at times. It's only because people like him that he doesn't die. So yeah, no, it's just, I love it. And then like the practicality of all of the stunts also helped ground the film, because again, it is a very over-the-top movie, but like it's not littered with CGI. You can tell that like that's a real car getting beat up. You can see these guys actually getting thrown around and stuff. So that's fun. So yeah, no, if you've never seen this movie before, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's such a fantastic movie. I was so happy to see it again. If you have seen it before, it's well worth a rewatch. It became an instant classic for a reason, and it definitely deserves all of the praise that it has gotten. So yeah, no, love this movie, wholeheartedly recommend it. Next up is John Wick Chapter 2. This is a 2017 film, and the basic premise is it picks up a little bit after the first one, and the first 10 minutes are kind of like an epilogue to the first one, and then after that it kind of kicks into its own story where John is kind of conscripted to do an assassination again. He doesn't want to, and even just the idea of having to do this assassination leads to a lot of problems. Now, it's hard to follow up such an iconic film that was so masterfully crafted, and I think they made a good attempt here. I do think this is a step down, but it's not bad by any means. Like, this is still a really great action film, but when you go in from such an iconic, incredible film way up here, just having that one step down just feels so much more, because it was like, wow, this is an instant classic, and yeah, this is a good film, but it is still a good, solid film. I think part of where I think the film kind of missteps is that the first film had such a simple, easy to follow premise and easy to follow motivations, and this one made it more complicated in a way that like you can understand it, but it's not that bite-sized explainable forgettable type of thing, if that makes sense. Like it gets a little lost in the sauce. And then the main bad guy I did not feel was that strong. Like he wasn't bad, but like the first one was so iconic, and then this guy's just kind of doing his own thing, and his motivations are kind of muddled, and he's just some backstabbing stuff, and like I get it, it's supposed to be complicated, but I don't know, just it doesn't quite land right for me. And then of course the action is again spectacular. There's so many great action set pieces. It's hard to name just one to even praise. They're all just so much fun. And then this film also does reunite Keanu with Lawrence Fishburne, which was so much fun to see. I love seeing them together. I'm glad that Lawrence stuck around for the rest of the series. So yeah, no, this is a good film. I know I crapped on it a bit, but that's just because the flaws in it really stand out when comparing it to such an iconic movie. For me, it's a quite like, so that's basically a 4 out of 5. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this movie a good solid amount. It is definitely worth a watch. If you're a fan of the first one, definitely keep going with the series. You could just watch it on its own. Honestly, they explain enough to get the gist, but it's definitely worth it to go through the series one by one. So yeah, no, this is a good film that I would totally recommend. And lastly is John Wick Chapter 3. This is a 2019 film that starts right where the last one left off, which I'll say what happens, but it's not really a spoiler. Basically, everyone wants to kill John Wick, which is true for all of these movies. That's a recurring theme within these films. So he's just on the run trying to figure out how not to die while killing everyone he comes across. It definitely starts off feeling very samey, like watching all three of these movies back to back, I feel like kind of does a disservice to them just because they are really good at capturing the same vibe over and over again, but by hour 5 I'm like, okay, I've done this for a while now, I get it. But once we got into more of the different unique action set pieces, it started to feel refreshing again. Like the first one that I really loved was the knife fight. That was so fun. Or the one right before then where he's putting together a custom gun. That was great. Halle Berry shows up in this one and she's a delight. She has some dogs and the dogs do some really fun, interesting action set pieces. I've definitely enjoyed this movie again. It's definitely fun. It's definitely interesting. They add a lot of wrinkles to the universe. But for me, it didn't quite hit as high as the second one. It still is a good movie. It still is a quite liked, so it's again like a 4 out of 5 for me. And it's interesting and it's fun. The first film is so incredible. It's hard to recapture that sort of magic. But I would definitely say if you're going through these movies, don't stop. Like, do all 4 of these films. They're so good and well worth it. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie a good solid amount and I would recommend it. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got John Wick sitting at number 8 in the really like section. And then after that is John Wick Chapter 2 sitting at number 23 in the quite like section, close to the top. And then bringing up the rear is John Wick Chapter 3 sitting at number 33, again in the quite like section. And this is out of a total of 75 old movies so far this year. And if you're wondering how I would rank all of the movies in the series, it would go 1, 4, 2, 3, and then a notable step down to Ballerina. 4 is such an incredible film. I feel like it has the best action set pieces. I love everything in Japan. Japan was so great. The story is really fun. I feel like they've really mastered how to replicate a lot of the charm from the original. And it's just so good. And then the Ballerina is just a giant mess of a film, which makes sense because it was in development hell for years and it just feels like a cobbled together film. It had the potential to be something really interesting. It's set during the third one, so that was kind of fun to see how those things overlap. Anyway though, yeah, I would definitely recommend the first 4 movies and not the Ballerina. That's not good. So yeah, no. 4 of these are worth checking out.